Hello friends, welcome to a new video. Today we will be taking a look at my July setup. Well, actually, this will be a hybrid video because I filmed the setup of the cover page, but not any of the subsequent spreads. I set those up on my own time, so I will, edit the setup of the cover page and voice over that part, but then we will have the walkthrough of the other pages, and I will talk all about how I set those up and what I used for those and such. But yes, that will be the content of this video, I guess. So as I said, a hybrid of the two. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk about this new notebook, which will be the one that I will be using for the second half of the year. It is a beauty. So this one is from Boke. I don't know how to pronounce the brand's name, but I am so very happy that I went with this exact brand and this specific notebook. So I've been, working in this notebook for the past couple of weeks. I set up July and I've been working on August for the past couple of days as well, and I love it. I'm so happy. I love this notebook. First of all, I love the feel of the cover. They say it's faux leather, but the feel of it's gorgeous. I love it so very much. The cover design, front and back, is very beautiful. I usually prefer subtle cover designs, but since my first notebook, was a black leather with rose gold designs, I thought I would go for something of that nature, and so I went with this. It has a beautiful star charm, pewter, I would say, if that would be the correct way to describe it. Beautiful gilding. I am already using and abusing this notebook and putting it through the ringer. And then this notebook has 180 GSM bamboo paper, and let me tell you, this paper is giving me the premium experience of white dot grit paper. It is making me enjoy the white paper experience. Okay, I'm actually enjoying white paper for once. I had such a hard time the past 6 months with white paper. It has made me somewhat miserable, I'm not going to lie. I cannot wait for this year to finish so that I can go back to my comfort zone and use some other paper color. I'm hoping for, a new paper color, but I'm also wouldn't mind but I also wouldn't mind going back to gray or black. So yeah, let's open it. I haven't set up, was that grammatically correct? I did not set up the yearly spreads. I don't have time for that yet. So yeah, did not set those up. I just marked and saved the spots for those. But let me open up the page. For the cover page, this is it. I am taking part with the community-wide event that is for Q2 over at the Jashi current community, which is called Scribbles&Suitcases and Scribbles, or Scribbles&Suitcases. Cannot remember which is which. I will put the image on the screen for that one. It is very exciting. We had one for Q1 in March, and this is the second iteration of the event, and the theme is travel. I did not think that I was going to partake in it this time, but it aligned perfectly with my summer travel plans. So this theme is all about that. Let's hop on to the clip of me actually setting it up and the voiceover. Hello, it's voiceover Bonnie. We are starting with a fine liner from Unipen in sepia, and we are doing a big postage stamp frame. So I just did a big rectangle and then doing the perforated edges. It's difficult to explain, but also it's pretty self-explanatory. So once I was done with that, I filled it in with a white acrylic paint pen because on its own it looked pretty weird looking, if that makes sense, and I couldn't find a light enough color in my collection. I looked and I couldn't find anything that I liked, so I decided on the white, and actually I feel like this is more accurate to how postage stamps are. So once I was done with that, I started on the month's title. So I wanted it to be a big statement. I went with another Unipin fine liner, but this time a black one with a pretty thick nib so that I can fill in the colors or fill in the letters pretty quickly. So I went with a pretty standard Times New Roman font because I wanted it to stand out and also be pretty simple, and also because I knew I would use nail art stickers. Actually, at this point I had finished all of the other spreads and I was doing the cover page last, and as you can see, the word is spaced out in the middle because I was gonna put a monument there. And we are switching to another fine liner. This one is from Micron and it's a pretty thin one, probably 01 or 02, and I'm drawing a monument, a pretty famous one from my hometown. This is the new clock tower in Homs, my hometown. There's the old one and the new one. This is the new one, and actually now that I'm back, I bought a souvenir of the old tower. I have it on my shelf, so I'll pop up a picture of that. But yes, I thought it was a fun touch to add it to the cover page. I drew an airplane to signify the travel aspect of it because I wasn't really sure how to capture the travel theme. You know, I'm not really into the entire vintage travel vibe. So I went with something more subtle, which is ironic because we ended up traveling by car, and I knew at that point that we were traveling by car. Anyway, I also wanted to add the Syrian flag, and I wanted to add it cascading down from the letter Y. I had a specific vision to how I wanted the cover page to look. So I used acrylic brush pens, and I sectioned off the area or masked it off with washi tape to protect it, and I used a paintbrush to feather out the colors at the bottom so they fade beautifully into the white paper, and then used the corresponding colors of the flag and then the red with a fine brush to do the stars. I'm very miffed that I did them horizontally and not vertically. I feel like that would have looked nicer. And then I'm here just adding a shadow to the map outline with the N95 Tombow and the dashed pathway for the airplane. But I wanted to add something else to the spread because it was looking a little bare, so I decided to add a few stickers and washi tape because at that point I had done all of the other spreads and then worked on the cover page, so I knew that I heavily used the script washi tape, and then I used those other flower stickers, and at that point I also knew that I wanted to have a sticker of the travel bag and such, so it was just a matter of figuring out how I wanted to arrange everything on the page, which took a hot minute because I originally wanted to orient everything towards the right side, but the flag and everything was heavily oriented already to the right side of the page, so I decided to orient it to the left. So it was just a matter of putting it in an arrangement that I liked, that didn't cover too much of the map and such, but also looked nice and balanced, if that made any sense. So I added ripped areas of the washi tape, the two plants, and then the suitcase with the hat in the middle. And I also had an extra hat, but I ended up not including that because I didn't like it. lastly, I had to fix the dashed line because I didn't really like how I did it the first time, and that's basically my entire cover page. Next, we have the calendar spread. So again, this month I went with an 8 by 5 grid, so adding an extra column for health, and I was building as I went. So this is the only place where I used a Fude Touch gray brush pen, and I regret it because again I didn't use it anywhere else, but again because I was building as I went, I did some questionable choices. Anyway, I knew right away that I wanted to use the what is this called, a postage stamp border for this, so I used the Unipen fine liner. This is in sepia if I am not mistaken, but it is brown and it is in the 01 thickness, and I used that to do the outline for the postage stamps on all of the pages. And then I used a white paint pen, if I can find my trusty white paint pen. Here it is. So I spent a long time searching for a light enough beige in my Tombos, my Crayolas, and my acrylic paint pens to color in the postage stamp frame, because they just looked awkward and off when they were just an outline. But nothing turned out fine. I have at the back some swatches here specifically, and I didn't like any of them, that they weren't looking good enough. So I thought about coloring it with a white paint pen, and that actually made perfect sense because when I was looking at inspo images, most of them were colored white, and if you get an actual postage stamp, it is white, and it is a shiny white that is different than the regular white of a printer paper and such. So it actually made perfect sense, and I just love it. It made me realize that this marker is rendered useless for fixing mistakes because it is an entirely different shade than the white of the paper. But in this case, it made perfect sense and it was useful. So we win some and we lose some. The rest of the outlines, I didn't use black. I thought I gathered my supplies, but apparently not. So I used this gray class dual tip brush pen. So this is a warm gray, and I used the fine liner tip to do all of the outlines for this actual calendar grid, because I felt like the black would be too much contrast, and I wanted to use gray, but I don't have any gray fine liners as of yet. And then I had the brilliant idea to do the numbers of the actual calendar with the colors of the flag, if that would make sense. So the Syrian flag has the green stripe, the red stars, and then the black stripes. So that is what I did. Green for the first row, then 3 red stripes or 3 red rows for the 3 red stars, and then the last row would be black, except that I left my trusty fountain pens at work and I was off on holiday for 2 weeks. So I ended up using some markers. I used these 3 because those were the only ones that had fine enough nibs, and they did the job, but they look sort of sloppy and they don't I don't like them very much, but you know what, it's fine. And every time I come to write the 10 in my head, I say 010 because I've been saying 01, 02, 03, then 08, 09, and instinctively I want to say 010, 011 again. So that is why we have a weird mark besides the 10. But because I cannot use my trusty white pen to correct it, I have no way of correcting it. And I don't use sticker paper or the journal's paper to correct it, because just that is, it looks so obvious. So yeah, I used these 3 markers to write the numbers of the calendar. And this time I was very careful not to write anything in the health column. So the main decoration for this spread comes from this souvenir, which my friend gave to me when she visited Syria. This was actually bought from my hometown. So this word spells my hometown in Arabic. So my hometown is Homs, or Homs in English. This is the famous watchtower, and this is just basically this. So I actually didn't even look it up online to trace it. I just traced it directly from the actual ornament into the notebook. I just made it a little slimmer when I was actually tracing it in. And then for or to actually color it in. And then this is the set that I used for the colors. So I used the pink for this. This purple is actually the one that I used from my setup in June. So it is the 301, I think, from my acrylic brush pen set from Languo. So yeah, I can pull it out, but I'm not going to. This peachy one is this orange, the red. This is the blue that I used, and this paler blue is also from the Languo set, from my acrylic brush pen set, and this red is the same one as this. And then this brush, or the wood detailing, is I would say it is some Tombow brushes, I think. I'm too lazy to bring out those markers, to be honest. I'm sorry. So I wanted to add something else to the theme. So I asked my mother to give me a plant or a flower that is native to our hometown or to our country. So she gave me the name of the plant, and I tried to translate it so that I can Google simple illustrations and such, because for me personally it is always easier to search for inspo images for things in English rather than Arabic. So that made things a little more complicated because the direct translation was basil, and I'm not sure if the plant that my mom had in mind is actually basil or not. It might just be, or it might not. So I am 100% sure it is not lavender, and it's not mint, but it might be basil or it might not. But it is maybe a descendant of this type of flower. So I just found a flower that looks like the flower that my mom had in mind, you know, that I liked the look of, and I basically replicated it. But yes, this one, I actually printed it on sticker paper and colored it in, because so some of them I drew directly into the notebook, some others I, as I said, printed on sticker paper and colored them in, depending on where I used them. On the cover page, for example, here, those were printed on sticker paper because I was, you know, sticking them in on top of drawn elements here as well. So here we have a small piece of washi tape. I used this roll of script washi that I got from Shein. It is a really nice you know, script print. I really like it, but it is a little difficult to get it off the roll without it ripping. So I keep a bit of it unrolled or unstuck. Anyway, so I used this. I really like it, and I will have it linked. And I wanted to add some of it here because I was working on the spreads bit by bit, as we say. So I used the washi on all of the other spreads, but couldn't figure out how to add them here. So when I decided to add this piece of sticker, basically, I added a little bit of washi tape beneath it. But yeah, this is the calendar. The reason why I don't like it is because it's more colorful than the other spreads, and you know, we don't have any of these colors anywhere else, I guess. But it also fits in that it has the colors of the flag, I guess. Moving on, we have my monthly dashboard. So I have been going with this layout for some time now. I have not realized until this moment that I've not yet colored this postage stamp border until this moment. Okay, I'm gonna get to this once I'm done with filming. But yes, I've been using this layout repetitively recently, I guess. Anyway, so because it's summer, I usually have wow, I'm so scatterbrained, I'm so sorry. Usually I have 4 sections in my dashboard, but because it's summer, I don't need the 4th section. But also because of my poor calculations, I didn't have enough space to do the postage stamp border on the 4th section, which, as you can see, I outlined with the brown fine liner. So I outlined it and then realized I didn't have space to do the postage stamp outline. So the idea was that I was just gonna leave it without an outline entirely, and then I, you know, worked on these sections. And then I just turned this into a collage spread. And I'm not sure what I'm doing with it, honestly. It's I think I'm just gonna continue sticking things down. We will talk about this later. So yes, I did the outline of this with the brown fine liner from Unipen, colored it with the paint pen from Art Walker, and then used a piece of the washi tape here for the headers, and then actually used nail art stickers to do the actual headers. So all of the headers here are done with black nail art stickers, which is ironic because I said I didn't want to use black, but I ended up using black for all of the headers. So we have working on finances and lifestyle, and the 4th section would be freelance, but I don't do any freelance work over the summer because school is out. So my primary audience for freelance is teachers and students. So yeah, I did my 3 sections with the stickers, as I said, which is also ironic for another reason, which is I was trying to do this quickly, hence I didn't film it, but using the stickers added to the time because I had to place them individually, and this was also difficult to use because peeling off the stickers was very hard. So yeah, so here we have pieces of washi tape as well, and then this is actually a screenshot of Google Maps from my house's location to my hometown, Homs, and then I actually found this poster on Pinterest and I love it. I am so desperate to paint this. I have the strongest urge, and I wish I had more time because I probably would have painted this as my cover page. It would have looked so gorgeous. I've heard so many stories about this bridge and about how this river flooded my parents' house. Okay, so I so desperately want this to be my cover page, but I didn't have time to paint such an elaborate cover page and an elaborate illustration. So I settled on having it printed here, and I had an extra of these printed stickers. So this was actually just a black and white outline, and I colored them in. I didn't mention that, so I will show you the colors that I used to color them in, and I used acrylic brush pens. So for the green, I used the 105 from the green series, which is a pale green. And then for the purple flower, actual flower, I used the 306, which is a very nice purple. And then for the details on the leaves, I used the gray fine liner. And then for the stem, or the, I don't know, the stick, whatever, I used the brown fine liner. And I did that for all of the flowers, whether they were stickers or I actually drew them myself. And that is it for the dashboard. Then we get to the weeklies. So I was really inspired by the weeklies. I wanted something safe, familiar, but also new. So I found a couple on Pinterest and I was really happy to try something new. So this is familiar in this case that I've tried this style of layout many times, you know, separating the page into 6 or 7 sections. But it is new in the sense that we have 7 Polaroids that I can fill with a doodle or a printed image. I don't know, well, it is not very difficult to print images this small, which is probably what I'm gonna do. So that is what I did. I sketched the outlines of the Polaroids with the brown fine liner and then colored them in with the white acrylic pen, as I did with the postage stamps. And then the headers for each day are done with the stickers. And then the outline for the rest of the spread is done with the gray fine liner. And then I did, you know, small ribbed areas of the washi tape. I put the numbers of the days with the stickers as well. And then these I drew myself, these flowers. They look slightly different than the flowers that I printed, but that is fine. And then same thing here. I actually had one side of the spread, the inspo spread, the inspo image was of this side. So to get the proportions right, I just mirrored it in my studio. So yeah, this is how I had this image, and I'm actually really excited about using it. Very beautiful and very simple, and I enjoyed setting it up. I did run out of the Ys though, if you can tell. Next we have a singular week because July contains 5 weeks. So I went with this layout mainly to fit in the postage stamps. So I really liked the layout of this, and you know, I decided that I wanted to fit in another illustration of the bags. So this one is also printed. I did the outlines with the Unipen fine liner and then just some slight coloring with the N79 Tombow, I think. So very subtle. I did again the postage stamps with the brown fine liner, coloring them in with the white acrylic paint pen. The rest of the outlines are done with the gray paint, the rest of the outlines are done with the gray fine liner. Then we have small ribbed sections of the washi tape, then used the sticker number, the nail art number and sticker, letter and number stickers for the headers. And that concluded the setup of this weekly. Use some washi tape here and another sticker. So I actually doodled this on sticker paper and then cut it out so that I can use it here. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this spread. Probably add a quote, maybe pictures, not sure. And here I will print pictures, or maybe book covers if I end up reading on this. Many possible ideas. Next, we have another double weekly. So this one is another layout that I've tried before, but also slightly different. So we have, you know, a small section for each day of the week, and then a running to-do list, with the running to-do list being encompassed in a large postage stamp frame. So each section of the day here is for the big events, I guess, and then all of my events will be here. So I did the outline here with the gray fine liner, a small section or ripped area of the washi tape, and then just the header of the day with the stickers, nail art stickers, and then also the number stickers as well. Oh, I forgot to do the 22nd because I ran out of the 2, which also explains why I didn't add the 02 here. I'll probably do that in silver because I ran out of the black. So it is duplicated here, and then I just added some washi tape, more washi tape here, and another flower that I drew myself freehand on sticker paper and then cut it out so that I can stick it on top of the drawn elements, if that makes sense. So yeah, same steps. And I showed it to you earlier, but this is the aftermath of me trying to rip the elements of the sticker paper because not the sticker paper, the washi tape, because, you know, I'm very particular about how the sections will look. So if I don't like how it rips, it lives in here. So this is the washi tape graveyard, basically. Lastly, we have the monthly review. So I made a huge postage stamp border, which was fun to make, and in here I found another icon, or one that I really liked, so I decided to here. It says Syria but in Arabic, and it has an icon of Damascus. Here I'll put the image on the screen. So I wrote July in review up top. I wish that I had the foresight to add washi tape beneath the letters, but I forgot about that. So instead I, you know, added that beneath the sections, which I have 6 as usual: highlights, challenges, memories, accomplished, favorites, and finances. And then I made 2 stickers, so freehanded these 2 flowers on sticker paper and cut them out so that I can put them on top of the washi tape, if that makes sense. And yeah, that makes up my very simple July setup. Let's take a look of it all at once. So this is the cover page: big postage stamp, flag, map outline, airplane, travel bag, and script. I just love script everywhere recently. And then the calendar spread. I love this. I love this so much, actually, especially since we are traveling by car. So it's going to be a long road trip, but I'm excited. The weeklies are my favorite, I think. But this is it for my setup for July. Let me know what you think in the comments, and of course let me know what is your own theme for July. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.